Starting off here, we have Atlanta Hawks and Falcon jersey collaboration, and in my personal opinion, I don't think there's enough Hawks influence in this uniform. The logo looks more like a Miami Heat logo than an Atlanta Hawks logo, which doesn't really make sense to me. But I think it would work as a normal Hawks uniform if they had to do it in a game, just based on the color scheme and the way it's designed. Next we have a Boston Celtics and Green Lantern uniform collaboration, and I really love this green and black gradient. I think it looks awesome on this uniform. And then the Clover logo looks like it's glowing with this different color green, and that just really resembles the Green Lantern ring. However, the Green Lantern logo would have been better than the Clover on the center of this jersey. Next we have a Brooklyn Nets and Venom uniform collaboration, and I really love the smudge pattern on this uniform, the kind of texture in the background. The teeth under the collar are kind of confusing to me, don't really look good. I also think that the Venom face would be better on the right shoulder instead of the bottom right on the shorts. So I think that's how this jersey can be improved, but overall pretty good. Next we have a Charlotte Hornets and Blue Beetle uniform jersey design, and I've actually never heard of Blue Beetle. Apparently it's owned by DC Comics. Overall, this uniform looks pretty normal, looks like a normal Hornets uniform. There's not too much influence from the Blue Beetle uniform designs at all. Next we have a Chicago Bulls and Deadpool uniform collaboration, and I really love the Deadpool inspired pattern across the whole uniform, but I don't really like the indent in the black panels on the sides. Not really my thing. Overall, I think this uniform is simple, but it's still pleasant to the eye. Next we have a Cleveland Cavaliers and Iron Man uniform collaboration, and I personally think that a gold and dark red would be better color scheme than the yellow and red that they have here. The shorts and the top have too much of a contrast and are slightly too different for my opinion, so I don't really like that. But overall, this uniform is a good idea, but needs a few minor tweaks. Next we have a Dallas Mavericks and Quicksilver uniform collaboration, and the colors go great for the Mavs as well as Quicksilver, so I really like that aspect of this uniform. And there's also a cool lightning bolt that goes across the whole chest, which big fan of that as well. And I just think this uniform represents the character well and also works for Quicksilver, so it's awesome. Next we have a Denver Nuggets and Joker inspired uniform design, and this one is Jack Nicklaus Joker inspired rather than any of the newer Jokers. The plaid and the bow tie are very interesting, very cool, and make this uniform stand out a lot. And the blue and green also complement the overall aesthetic of the uniform. So I think it's a pretty cool design and very out there, very different. Next we have a Detroit Pistons and Optimus Prime uniform collaboration, and this design just seems very expected. We got the 90s Pistons uniform logo with the, of course, fire for Optimus Prime, the red, white, and blue color scheme. Obviously it's a classic, and this uniform is not too creative, but a solid overall uniform in general. Next we have a Golden State Warriors and Wolverine uniform collaboration, and in my personal opinion, I think this one has too many claw scratches. I think one large claw scratch going across the center of this uniform or all the way down through the shorts would be much better. But the yellow and blue, big fan of those color schemes for the Golden State Warriors. It just really pops out and stands out and looks really nice visually. Next we have a Houston Rockets and Shazam collaboration, and I think this is a great combo of the Shazam and Rockets aesthetic. I could definitely see this uniform being used on the court. It's just simple, clean, love the shooting sleeve as well. Next we have an Indiana Pacers and Black Panther uniform collaboration, and I think the overall colors work really well for the Indiana Pacers. The collar is super cool and definitely the best part of this uniform. However, the African pattern is slightly too busy for my taste, but does make sense for this uniform. Next we have a Los Angeles Clippers Spider-Man uniform concept, and I just wish the top and the shorts had a continual pattern. Obviously you see the Spider-Man top, but the shorts are just plain blue. It's the classic Spider-Man colors, so no change there, makes sense for the Clippers, and it's an overall solid choice for the Clippers, but nothing too special. Next we have a Los Angeles Lakers and THANOS inspired uniform, and I just love the multicolored side panels. Those are awesome. The yellow design pattern in the background of this uniform is really nice, and the purple numbers are really cool too. It just overall reminds me of the THANOS meme. It's an awesome uniform. Next we have a Memphis Grizzlies and Rocket Raccoon inspired jersey, and the overall idea is very promising, but it needs some tweaking, although I do like this like leathery uniform texture. I think that there's too much detail in this uniform, but I do love the older Grizzlies logo for this one. It just really stands out, and as you know, love this logo. Next we have a Miami Heat and Flash inspired uniform, and overall it's okay, but I don't really like the lightning bolt waistband. The color scheme is obviously awesome for the Miami Heat, but maybe cut out some of the lightning bolts and that would take this uniform over the top for sure. Next for the Milwaukee Bucks, it's a Hulk inspired uniform, and the Hulk green color is really good for this one, but the purple I think is a little too dark. I wish the top was also all green instead of having that purple rip. Also, the shorts definitely need to be way more shredded like the real Hulk shorts. It doesn't really make sense for the top to be shredded but not the shorts. For the Minnesota Timberwolves, we have a Winter Soldier inspired uniform, and right off the bat, I just don't like the pinstripes that go across this whole entire uniform. I do wish, however, that the shooting sleeve had a like metallic silver. Would have been better for a Winter Soldier inspired uniform. I do like the snow texture that goes throughout the uniform, however. Kind of looks cool. I really like that part. For the New Orleans Pelicans, we have a Magneto inspired uniform, and the shapes on this uniform, like at the bottom of the shorts and the shooting sleeve and just overall, just don't make it look good, make it too busy. I do like the red and purple color scheme, makes sense for the Pelicans. Overall, this uniform has potential, just the execution's kind of poor. Next up for the New York Knicks, we have a Carnage inspired uniform, and I don't think the red and black works for the Knicks. They have a blue and orange color scheme, so that doesn't make sense. Also, the pattern on this uniform has too much contrast. I think it would be better if it was more like the Venom uniform. That would make more sense, and it would look much better in my opinion. For the Oklahoma City Thunder, we have a Thor inspired uniform, and I just love the color scheme for this uniform. It's amazing. The blue lightning is awesome, and I definitely think this would be an amazing playoff jersey for the Oklahoma City Thunder. Next we have the Orlando Magic with the Doctor Strange inspired uniform, and I think that the color scheme doesn't really work for the Magic, doesn't make sense for them. I don't like this amulet on this jersey at all, kinda hate it actually, but the symbol pattern is really cool, and it actually brings this jersey back from being absolutely terrible. For the Philadelphia 76ers, we have a Superman inspired uniform, and this design is definitely adventurous for the Sixers. Yellow, blue, and red, kinda out there, but the yellow really reminds me of the Iverson era Sixers, and also the cloth pattern is simple but really clean, definitely looks really good for this uniform. For the Phoenix Suns, we have a Human Torch inspired uniform, and the colors are just perfect for the Suns, looks really cool, but I wish that the flames that go on the bottom of this uniform were more throughout the uniform, like all over this uniform would be much cooler. I think this uniform needs a little bit of rework, but the idea is definitely there, could be reworked a little bit. Next for the Portland Trailblazers, we have an Ant-Man inspired uniform design, and I think that the Ant City word mark on the front of it is kind of funny. It's definitely different than I've seen before. The colors really work for the Portland Trailblazers, and I just think this is a great collaboration for the Trailblazers and Ant-Man. Not really much to prove here, but looks good. Solid overall collaboration. Next up for the Sacramento Kings, we have a Black Panther inspired uniform design. I think that the artist is kind of cheating having Black Panther for the Pacers and the Kings. This pattern, however, is a lot more accurate to the actual suit in the movie, which I think makes it better than the last Black Panther uniform that we saw for the Pacers. The purple is also much better than the yellow, so I'm a big fan of this uniform. For the San Antonio Spurs, we have a Batman inspired uniform design, and the colors look really great. They work well for the Spurs. The bat logo on the shorts kind of seems unnecessary, especially because it's half of the bat logo. Doesn't really make sense to me, but the Gotham skyline really puts this uniform design over the top. Really like that part. But the chest logo, also weird combination. This spur is kind of unnatural. Looks like a football field goal post. Don't like that. Next, for the Toronto Raptors, we have a Hawkeye-inspired uniform design. Although it may look like it, there's nothing really resembling Hawkeye. Not from the comics, not from the movies, nothing really Hawkeye other than the arrows. Although it's not really standing out as a Hawkeye-inspired uniform, the little arrows on the waistband do really look cool, and I do like the waistband on this uniform. For the Utah Jazz, we have an Aquaman-inspired uniform design, and this uniform reminds me more of Mermaid Man from SpongeBob than Aquaman. I just think the orange is way too bright, but I do like the yellow, the little accents of yellow, as well as the green. Logo just doesn't really work with the Jazz though. I don't know. Finally, for the Washington Wizards, we have a Captain America inspired uniform, and like I'm sure many of you, I kind of expected this, the nation's capital being the Captain America uniform inspired design. The combination just makes a lot of sense. It's simple but expected. No real serious problems with this one, and overall this uniform's okay. Nothing too special, nothing too bad. Thank you for watching this video, guys. Make sure you check out the artist who made all these uniforms in the link in the description, and please like, subscribe, and check out one of these two videos on screen here. If you like uniform review videos, I have a few of those on my channel, so check them out. Thank you very much for watching. Peace.